This video provides more evidence on Francois Mitterrand and General Charles de Gaulle as German masqueraders. Hello friends, this is Unmasked Truth with Harmanjeet Saini, where I provide unique analysis of world events based on the unmasked truth that after surrender, Germany continued World War II clandestinely and became a killing machine. I also provide true news that you will find nowhere else. In my video of April 16, 2021, titled Truth Behind France's Role in the Rwanda Massacre of 800,000 Tutsis in 1994, I identified Francois Mitterrand and General Charles de Gaulle as German masqueraders who had been responsible for so much bloodshed of Frenchmen and of others at the hands of Frenchmen so that France would be maligned. Germans love dividing people and causing them to kill each other and are thrilled when they succeed in doing so. Some clues that Francois Mitterrand was a German masquerader are that he served in the Vichy government in France in its early years during French occupation by Germany. He abolished the death penalty as soon as he took office because, as a masquerader, he knew that Germans and German masqueraders were committing murders in the millions around the world by that time. Another hallmark of masqueraders is infidelity in marriage. Francois Mitterrand had two acknowledged children as results of extramarital affairs with two women. It was quite a sight for the world to see when his wife and his long-term mistress showed up at his funeral. The German masqueraders indulged in such behavior to malign the French. Francois Mitterrand was Interior Minister from 1954 and later Justice Minister of France from 1955 to 1958 and had a direct hand in French policies in Algeria during its War of Independence from 1954 to 1962. He was followed by the masquerader Charles de Gaulle as president from 1959 to 1969. An estimated 1 million Algerians died during this war. While committing the crimes themselves, but maligning their enemies has always been the German goal. Then, during Francois Mitterrand's presidency, massacre of 800,000 Tutsis took place in 1994 in Rwanda, and about 25,000 Tutsis and a similar number of Hutus took place in Burundi in 1993 to 1994. The conflict in Rwanda and Burundi spilled over into Zaire, present-day Democratic Republic of Congo, after some rebel groups fled there for refuge. Rwanda attacked Zaire and toppled the regime of Mobutu Sese Seko. First and Second Congo Wars were fought, resulting in more than 6 million dead. Hostilities continue to this day. This is the legacy Francois Mitterrand left behind. Mitterrand was President of France from 21 May 1981 to 17 May 1995. During his tenure, many French soldiers were killed around the world and he took no action. For example, on October 23, 1983, two truck bombs exploded that destroyed buildings in Beirut, Lebanon, which housed American and French military personnel as part of the multinational peacekeeping force during the Lebanese Civil War. In that attack, 307 people, which included 241 American, 58 French military personnel, 6 civilians, and 2 of the attackers were killed. The attackers knew that with a German masquerader in charge of France, there would be no retaliation. When Mitterrand was president, the Bosnian War was fought between 1992 to 1995. At the same time, a civil war was going on in Algeria, which was fought between 1991 to 2002 between the Algerian government and various Islamist groups. Many French journalists, technical people, and troops were killed in Algeria and Bosnia. I noticed that almost 50 French military peacekeepers were killed by the Serbs, one at a time, 1 or 2 each day. I was fuming for weeks as almost every day reports kept coming that a French peacekeeper or a journalist had been killed the previous day. I was shocked that the French government was doing nothing about it and Francois Mitterrand made no statements threatening Radovan Karadzic, the Bosnian Serb leader, and Radko Mladic, the military commander. Finally, I could take it no longer and threatened both Serb leaders that there would be dire consequences for them if they did not stop killing Frenchmen. The killing stopped immediately. Only about 8 to 9 years later, I realized that Francois Mitterrand was a German masquerader and was deliberately allowing Frenchmen to be killed. Charles de Gaulle's legacy is no different. As already mentioned, during the latter part of the Algerian War of Independence, approximately 1 million Algerians were killed when he was president of France. This is the total number of killings during the entire war. But just 3 days before the 6-day 1967 Arab-Israeli War, de Gaulle imposed an arms embargo against Israel. He definitely wanted the Jews in Israel defeated and by the Arabs and destroyed. In the Nigerian Biafran Civil War of 6 July 1967 to January 1970, over 1 million Nigerians lost their lives. The British supported the Nigerian side to preserve the Union, whereas France supported the Biafran side. This was an area outside France's sphere of influence. Charles de Gaulle took actions to spite the United Kingdom and USA without care or concern for the millions that would be killed in the process. But French support was not sufficient for Biafra to win the war. The Biafran military commander assessed that the French support did more harm than good by raising false hopes and by providing the British with an excuse to reinforce Nigeria. Without French support for Biafra, the war would have ended very quickly, or it may not even have started. But German masqueraders got their thrill when they were successful in dividing the Nigerian people so that they fought and destroyed each other. De Gaulle seemingly sought opportunities to hurt or rile America and British Commonwealth nations. He twice vetoed Britain's membership of the European Economic Community in 1963 and 1967. Britain became a member only in 1973 after de Gaulle was no longer in power. And the Bretton Woods global financial system established in 1944, the US dollar was convertible to gold. In February 1965, de Gaulle announced that France would exchange its US dollar reserves for gold at the official exchange rate. He sent the French Navy across the Atlantic to pick up the French reserve of gold, which had been moved there during World War II. It led U.S. President Richard Nixon to end the convertibility of the dollar to gold on 15 August 1971, and the dollar became a fiat currency after that. In July 1967, when Canada was celebrating its centenary with the World Fair in Montreal, de Gaulle visited Canada. When speaking to a large crowd at Montreal City Hall, he shouted, "Viva la Quebec libre! Viva la Canada français! Et viva la France!" which means long live free Quebec, long live French Canada, and long live France. As a German masquerader, he could not pass up a golden opportunity to divide Canadians, to gleefully see what carnage would ensue. In response, Canadian Prime Minister Lester B. Pearson stated that Canadians do not need to be liberated. The incident caused a diplomatic row between the two nations. De Gaulle had to leave Canada abruptly 2 days later without proceeding to the Canadian capital, Ottawa, as scheduled. However, the event did its damage. It acted as a catalyst in the coalescing of many different groups into formation of the party Québécois, a provincial political party. The party has held 2 provincial referendums, first in 1960 and then in 1995, both of which rejected independence by a margin of 60% and then 50.58% respectively. The second referendum came so close to voting for French independence, or Quebec independence. The notion of independence for Quebec finally died down after the discovery of the existence of German masqueraders around 1999 to 2000. I am exposing the dirty, vile, murderous deeds of German masqueraders in support of my judgment on how they should be dealt with. No nation will have peace as long as German masqueraders exist in their midst. Therefore, my judgment is that they should be exterminated, man, woman, and child. Winston Churchill was absolutely right when he said, "A Hun alive is a war in prospect." Germans and German masqueraders are Satan worshippers. Satan has been described as a liar and a murderer from the very beginning. His followers have the same nature. They delight in seeing people divided and then killing and fighting and destroying each other. They instigate violence and bloodshed by causing divisions between people and then gleefully enjoy the gory fun that follows. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please continue to watch my videos and read my articles on important world events, World War III watch, politics, international business, advice on health and medical problems, and much more for in-depth and insightful analysis. Please also subscribe to my YouTube and Facebook channels, Unmasked Truth with Harmanjeet Saini, to view and get information on the latest videos.